And welcome to another episode of the Tar Heels Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Grant Chachere, bringing you all the latest news in regards to the North Carolina Tar Heels. Tomorrow, your Tar Heels will be taking on the Richmond Spiders. Yes, they are an FCS opponent, and yes, North Carolina is going to walk in there. They're going to go on the field. They're going to toss the rock around. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to win by 60 points. Easy peasy. I wish I was that optimistic, but that's not going to happen. Unfortunately for North Carolina, they've been really struggling to move the ball down the field. Defense, we're not so sure what we're going to see. Are we going to see TCU defense, or are we going to see the defense we saw against Charlotte last week, where they allowed 3 points in the game against Charlotte, and it was also the lowest point total that they have surrendered since the year 2001. Ironically, against Clemson, who always seems to beat the crap out of the Tar Heels, but apparently that one time, North Carolina happened to beat the crap out of the Tigers of Clemson. But anyway, North Carolina, like I said, I think I said I said this on the previous podcast, right? Where I said this was a great opportunity for the Tar Heels to improve because Richmond's a solid team. They are a solid FCS team. Now, they're a solid FCS program all around. And to kind of give it a little background on Richmond, their head coach is Russ Hoosman, who's in his 7th year as the head coach of the Spiders. He is 53-37 overall. He has led the Spiders to 3 consecutive playoff appearances. Last year they went 10-3, which was their best season. Really, they went 9. They went 9 games the previous 2 seasons, and they won 10 games last season. And he's done a fantastic job with the Spiders. And the interesting thing, also they're in their first season as a member of the Patriot League. They're in the Patriot League as a football-only member, so they compete against teams like Lehigh and Bucknell, and like Lafayette, some schools like that. And then also, and Fordham, Fordham too. But the Patriot League also, that's like the football only members, right? Or not football only members, but those are the members that play football. Of course, for the Patriot League, of course, when they play basketball, it's Navy, Army, all the academic schools. It's like, imagine the Ivy League, but they aren't the Ivy Leagues, basically. I think that's the best way to explain it, because outside of the Ivy League, the Patriot League has some the most selective admissions in the country. So it's a highly academic athletic league, but they also have some great sports too. But before that, they were a member of the Colonial Athletic Association with Delaware and formerly Delaware and James Madison were in that conference. So it's a solid football conference at the SCS level. But of course, they've had some departures like Delaware and James Madison moved up to FBS, right? And of course, Richmond moved to get to the Patriot League. So it's still a good league, but it's maybe not as powerful as it once was. But Richmond, all time, actually, interestingly enough, their all-time record is 594 wins, 674 losses, and 53 ties. That is a 470 winning percentage. And that shocked me when I saw the all-time record. Because really for the last 20 to 25 years, they've been one of the better programs at the FCS level since the year 2005. They are 154-88. They've appeared in 6 quarterfinal. They've had 6 quarterfinal appearances since then. They've also had 3 semifinal appearances, and of course, they won the national championship in 2008. Russ Hoosman was the defensive coordinator of the team. You want to know who the head coach was? Mike London. Mike London was the head coach of Virginia from 2010 through 2015. His predecessor was Dave Clawson. Dave Clawson, of course, the longtime head coach at Wake Forest. So they actually have a rich tradition, even though maybe more recently, but they expect to win. This is a winning program. This is a program that, like TCU, like I said about TCU, how they're a proud program. This is a proud program. They want to invest in football. They want to win in football. And we don't know about Richmond basketball, right? A lot of you guys are watching this are basketball fans. So I think people are familiar with this basketball team, with Dick Targett and the job he did for their basketball program. But they also have a very solid football program there as well. If you and they've actually had some decent history against FCS programs. Over the last 20 years, Richmond has defeated Duke 3 times in 2006, 2009, and 2011. Of course, those were the dark ages of Duke football when they were really bad. I mean, look, they've never really been a good program up until David Cutcliffe got there. Before David Cutcliffe got there, actually, this is the beginning of David Cutcliffe, actually, when he was trying to build that program back up. This is when they're bad. So they lost against Richmond 3 times in 2006, 2009, 2011. And then their most recent win against the FBS program came against Virginia when they defeated Virginia 37-20. That was the first year of Bronco Mendenhall's tenure. And, of course, Virginia got better after that. And then their most recent results against FBS opponents, they lost against Virginia in 2018, lost against Boston College in 2019, lost against Virginia Tech in 2021, lost against Virginia in 2022, lost against Michigan State in 2023, and they lost against Virginia last year. And all those results were by two or more touchdowns. The closest one was a 21-10 loss to, of course, Virginia Tech in 2021. Last year, they lost against Virginia 34-13, and they lost against Michigan State 45-14. So, I mean, even though I say they're good, I mean, UNC, this is a team UNC should blow out, right? Your FBS program, you have more talent. There's no reason why Richmond should even compete with you. But that's the problem with UNC's offense. They let Charlotte hang in there for a little while. Charlotte's not a very good FBS team. They're not good enough. They're horrible on offense, and they're even worse on defense. UNC only being 20-3. And I got some really bad news for the Tar Heel offense. Richmond's defense is pretty good. Richmond is 9th in total defense. This is at the FCS level, so I want to clarify that. This is at the FCS level. Even though it's at the FCS level, it's still news you want to hear. They're 9th in total defense. They're 10th in passing yards allowed. They are 17th in scoring defense. They're 19th in rushing defense. And they're also 7th in third down defense. They have a 24% 24% conversion rate. That's pretty good. 24%. That's a really, really low number. And, of course, they are 18th in sacks. They've had 2.5 sacks in the 2 games they played. So this is a very good defense. Camden Bird is probably the most notable one. He's the second team. It was the second team all conference last season. He had 45 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, and 7 sacks, along with a forced fumble in 2024. And then this season, he has 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and a pass breakup. 6'3", 245, and decent-sized guy. And they're also Donovan Hoyland, someone that you need to watch out for. It's kind of similar size, 6'4", 250. TJ Baldwin has also had a great year. He's also had 2 sacks. And then Matei Fitz, 6'2", 275. He's had 6 tackles, a tackle for a loss. And then his last 2 seasons, throughout his career, he's also had 19 tackles for a loss and 9.5 sacks, most of which have come in the last 2 years. And linebacker, you got Carter Glassmeyer, a senior backer, 6'1", 224. He has 12 tackles in the year, which is second on the team. And then Peyton Seelman, about the same size, 6'1", 225. Sophomore, 17 tackles, a sack, and a pass breakup. By the way, the 17 tackles lead the Spiders. And then also Richmond's defensive backfield is really, really good too. You got Tayshawn Burney, 9 tackles, an interception, and a team high 3 pass breakups. You're going to see him a lot in the slot. You also have cornerbacks D'Angelo Stalker and C.J. Frazier. D'Angelo Stalker, 11 tackles, half a tackle for a loss and a pass breakup. And of course, CJ Frazier, 3 tackles, interception, and a pass breakup. And then you have strong safety Jordan Allen and Lee Bruner as your last line of defense. But I do have some good news for the Tar Heels, right? And we talked a lot about the defense, right? The defense isn't very good. Well, the defense is very, very good, right? Top 10 defense at the FCS level. But the offense is not very good. They only average 206.5 yards per game. They average less yards than what Richmond allows on defense. And Richmond, by the way, allows 228 yards per game. That's elite. Now, the 226.5 yards per game that they create on offense is absolutely pitiful. 133 passing yards per game, which is 92nd nationally. They are 87th nationally in rushing. As they rush for 93.5 yards per game, and they've scored exactly 14 points in the last 2 games, which is 85th nationally. The offense is led by Kyle Wickersham, who has completed 69% of his passes for 266 yards with a touchdown and 2 interceptions. And he also leads the team in rushing with 103 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's 6'4", 260. This is somebody that, Bill Belichick even said in his press conference that he reminds him of Ben Roethlisberger, which I thought was very interesting just because of his size. These are his exact words. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like a Ben Roethlisberger-looking guy. He's really big. He's strong. He's a physical runner. He's got a stiff arm, long arms. He's a tough guy to tackle, and he's a good downhill runner, so he doesn't shy away from contact. You got to bring him down. So that's a very sorry for the notification threw me off. I don't know why I didn't put it on silent. But that's easily their most lethal threat on offense is the quarterback. All North Carolina has to do is stop him from throwing the ball, which they don't really throw for that much. But also the most important thing is to bring him down when he gets to open space. One of the big issues for North Carolina this season has been open field tackling. We saw that against TCU. Now, we didn't see too much of it against Charlotte, but UNC was supposed to handle business against Charlotte, right? They didn't really handle the business against TCU. So can they tackle guys in open space? We'll see. But I think this is a game that North Carolina should win. This is. I'm not saying that we should respect Richmond because obviously, as I said, they're a top 10 defense nationally at the FCS level. And also at the same time, they are also a winning program. They are a proud program, so you got to respect that. But at the same time, you have more talent than they do. Don't do it like you can't. If you're North Carolina, you can't afford to perform like you did against Charlotte because Charlotte isn't a very good team. Not at all. And if you have another similar performance like you did against Charlotte offensively, it's going to be a long season in Chapel Hill. And really, I can already tell you this right now. If they do not perform well against Richmond tomorrow, I'm saying UCF will definitely win that game in Orlando. Because you have to show improvement. If they don't show improvement against Richmond, it's going to be a long season. It really is. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm being honest. If you look at the rest of the schedule, yes, it is a relatively easy schedule compared to other teams in the ACC. The only team of, let's say, maybe like the S-tier teams you have to play is Clemson. You avoid Louisville, you avoid Georgia Tech, you avoid Florida State, and you avoid Miami and SMU if you want to throw them in there as well. But Cal has looked solid so far, a lot better than I thought they would look. Virginia should have beaten NC State. Virginia looked good offensively. They looked with Chandler Morris. They looked great offensively, and they should have beat NC State. You also have a road game at Syracuse, which is always a very tough place to play. And Fran Brown is going to have his boys ready to play. Stanford's the one I can't guarantee you they're going to win. And I originally said Wake Forest's game they're guaranteed to win. But I saw Wake Forest play NC State pretty tough last night. And NC State, of course, pulled away because they're a better team. But it looked like for a little bit, Wake Forest about to pull away, except they shot themselves in the foot constantly. But when North Carolina goes up to Winston-Salem to go play the Demon Deacons, it's going to be a tough outing. So I don't even know they're going to get – I can't guarantee a victory in that one. And then, of course, you got Duke, who's looked solid with Darian Mintz at quarterback. And you also have NC State, who has looked great so far. They're 3-0. And really, they have a chance to be 5-0 and even 6-0. So it's going to be tough sledding for North Carolina the rest of the way. It was an easy schedule before the season started, but the season started, and it's not going to be any easier. So you have to, if you're North Carolina, you got to take care of business against the Spiders. You have to, because if you don't, it's going to be a long season in Chapel Hill. It's going to be a long season in Chapel Hill, y'all. But thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to be it for the podcast today. Once again, my name is Grant Chachere. I am the beat writer here for the North Carolina Tar Heels on SI. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out all of our content on our website at si.com/college/UNC. And you'll find all of our content on the site. We're going to be uploading articles all day tomorrow. So make sure to check it out because tomorrow is game day. You guys have a great rest of your Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And I'm so glad that tomorrow is game day. You guys have a great rest of your Friday. No, seriously.